Good evening, everyone. My name is Ken Campbell. I get the opportunity every once in a blue moon to sit in a big swiggly chair. So this is the time that I get to talk to you about all things CBD. I remember when I got the idea that I wanted to pitch this class. I remember we were at convention a couple of 3 years ago and Dr. Ali pitched this class. And it was so interesting to me, the information that he imparted, that I decided that I wanted to do a bit of research on it to see where all of this was coming from. Because if you go by how popular it is right now, you would think that this concept is a brand new concept. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's, come on, let me get to you. There you go. So we're going to get started here and talk about all things CBD. And I guess the best way to start is to define what it is you're talking about. CBD stands for cannabidiol, and it's one of two versions of the hemp plant. And the hemp plant is a very interesting plant in and of itself. From CBD, or from hemp, you get marijuana. It's produced when the hemp plant is grown without the male variety nearby. The resin produced is full THC, and THC stands for tetrahydrocannabinol. It is the psychoactive effects associated with marijuana that gives it its claim to fame in the popular world. The other side of the street, still of the hemp plant, is cannabidiol, or CBD. It's a natural substance from the hemp plant. It's produced when the hemp plant is grown with both the male and the female present, and the resin produced is full of cannabidiol, or CBD, but has only a small amount of THC. This is why you have to be extremely careful when you're out and about at the various places you can find CBD available now. I remember after doing the research on this class, or to do this class initially, some of the things that I saw that you have to be extremely aware of when you're buying this product and where you're buying this product kind of gave me the willies. Because if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know where that product came from, you could be doing some very, very bad things to your body under the auspices of trying to get yourself to feel better. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go along. If I could ever get this thing to advance to the next slide. Okay, let's talk a bit about the history of CBD. Remember I said, as popular it is now, you would think that this is something that just came on the streets the last couple of years. However, the Middle Eastern population and the Asian population has been using CBD for over 2,000 years. Think about that. As popular it is now, this thing has been around for a very, very long time. It came to the United States in the 16th century. And it was used for so many things. And that's what made it so popular in Asia and in the Middle East. It was an extremely versatile plant. And it was so versatile and had so many variable uses. When it came to the United States, farmers were required by law to plant a percentage of their growing space in hemp. Think about that. In the 1920s, there was a very, very, I don't know how you put it, mean-spirited, that's probably the best way for me to put this, campaign by wealthy individuals who controlled the production of paper in the United States And because of hemp's versatility, let me give you a bit of a comparison. An acre of trees was a very lucrative adventure back in the 20s because the people who grew the trees were growing it to manufacture the paper products. Hemp came into the United States, and on the same acre of land, you could grow 4 times the amount of hemp. And hemp was used in textiles, in sails, in cloth, in your manufacturing. So it was an extreme competitor to those wealthy individuals who had cornered the tree market. And to make it a bit more attractive for banning, those wealthy individuals teamed up with the medical community and have them vouch that it had no medicinal benefit whatsoever. The only thing it did was worked with that psychoactive piece of it. So they managed to badmouth it to the point that it became illegal in this country to have. Let's skip along now to July of 2018. And something very interesting happened in July of 2018. The first thing that happened was that hemp was downgraded, or CBD was downgraded from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 5 controlled substance by the FDA. And why do you think that happened? Well, with all of the reaction for people who were being treated with chemicals for chemotherapy, they found that the properties of CBD went a long way in quelling the adverse impact of nausea with those individuals who were taking those chemotherapy drugs. And as a consequence, the FDA facilitated the creation of a product called Epidiolex, which had a CBD base. So they couldn't really say it was illegal if they were pushing it on the street. So they had to get behind closed door and change the law. So in 2018, it was now downgraded, and it was no longer a narcotic because it was being used in this Epidiolex. Let's come along now to December of 2018. And this is where I got a little bit nervous. In December of 2018, the Hemp Farming Act was signed into law, and it made it completely legal to have CBD with 0.3% THC. And at that point, it was no longer a controlled substance, nor was it illegal in the United States proper. But states have the ability to mandate what's legal or not legal in the specific states. So even though it's nationally not illegal to have, your state may have a different play on that. So when you're looking for CBD, you really, really need to understand what your state's view on the legality of that substance is where you are. So that's a bit of history about the CBD. This thing will not advance. So we're going to talk a little bit about the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. Let's move this. They can't see that. Okay. ECS is linked to those body functions to help the body maintain homeostasis. Take a look at the list of things that CBD has an impact on your appetite, digestion, your immune functions, inflammation, neuroinflammation, mood, energy regulation, sleep, reproduction and fertility, motor control, temperature regulation, memory, pain, and pleasure reward systems. That's a very, very exhaustive list of things that ESC or cannabidiol impacts on the body, because your body in and of itself creates cannabidiol or cannabinoids. They are the entities that influence the activity in the nervous system for all of those things in that list that I just mentioned. So if your body creates cannabidiol and cannabinoids, and you add the hemp side of that, it really pumps up your body's ability to help monitor and maintain the homeostasis of all of those systems or functions that's going on in the body. So it's really a very valuable product to have available to you to boost your system in the body.
I think Dr. Ollie likened it onto a key going into a lock.
Receptors.
Yeah,
the
receptor
receptors.
sites.
Yes.
And how it unlocks that receptor so that it can do those things that were on that last slide, you know, work as an anti-inflammatory, work as, you know, whatever that list was. He went too fast, so go ahead.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the differences. THC, or the tetrahydrocannabinol, it's the psychoactive compound in cannabis. This is what the people who use marijuana to get, because it relaxes them. It works on the cannabidiol 1 and 2 systems, and the 1 system is actually the central nervous system that's controlled by the brain. So it goes in and it works on relaxing the brain to relieve stress. So that's why those people who use that piece uses it. If you look at the other side of the street, the CBD, the cannabidiol, it doesn't bind directly to either the CB1, which is the central nervous system, or the CB2, the peripheral nervous systems receptors, but instead it impacts indirectly by modifying the receptors' ability to bind the cannabinoids. That is, they join those properties so that it goes through your body and it helps your body's internal functions in and of itself do what it needs to do to keep you in homeostasis. So it's an extremely valuable adjunct to what your overall body does for you. One of the key pieces of both hemp and something that we're familiar with, the key piece is called terpenes. Terpenes are found in CBD, and they're also found in essential oils. And what terpenes do is it gives the plants their distinctive aroma. And it also have many positive effects on the body. So when you get the value that the CBD does in terms of boosting your body's ability to push the cannabinoids through your system, both the CB1 and the CB2 system, to give you benefit from things like pain and any kind of malfunctionings that's going on in the body that you have no control over. You can boost it by increasing the viability of the cannabidiol or cannabinoids in your body by enhancing it with using CBD.
Do page down.
None of this is working. We're having a bit of technical difficulties here. I think you skipped a slide. Yes, that's what. Now, remember I said I was a bit concerned when I saw how prevalent CBD was on the market. I mean, I remember the first time I was actually exposed to it. I was at a gas station in St. Louis, and they had a big red flashing sign that says, "We sell CBD here." And this was after I had done the research on CBD and what you need to look out for. And let me let me talk about the things that you really need to pay attention to with regard to CBD. But before I do that, I need to give you a little bit of background on hemp and what hemp really is. In the plant world, hemp has a very, very important function. It is used as a phytoremediator. And what that means to you is, back in Asia and in the Middle East, when farmers planted hemp, what they were doing were they were trying to remove all the toxic chemicals from the soil. If you do not know where your CBD comes from, you are inadvertently and unwittingly subjecting yourself to toxic chemicals and heavy metals, because that's what hemp does. It pulls that out of the soil. So you really need to be careful where you get yours. The first thing you need to look at with respect to purchasing CBD is the quality. Select a company that you know has high standards, and since you know Young Living and you know what those standards are, that's a no-brainer for us. Company does not use chemicals, and they test their product for quality and purity. Let's go back to that Farmers Act of December 2018. What that in effect did for the US farmers was open up the gate for them to become hemp farmers in this country. Think about that for a second. Our farmers for years in the commercial side of producing things have always used pesticides and other dangerous chemicals on the land. If you don't know where your hemp comes from or where your CBD comes from, you could very well be buying something that's going to cause you to ingest heavy metals and toxic chemicals. There are a couple of different versions of CBD. We have something that's called full spectrum. It contains everything, both cannabidiol, the tetrahydrocannabinol, the plant esters, flavonoids, terpenes, all together in a liquid form to provide what's called the entourage effect. And think of the entourage effect as a team that's combined working toward a specific goal. You can get a lot more done with that team doing it together than you could with that one single player. So the full spectrum CBD now is synergistically using all of the properties in that oil to produce the effect of improving the cannabidiol system. You also have what's called CBD isolate. It's pure CBD, and while it has no THC in it, it also does not have any terpenes in it, and therefore it loses that enhancing capability to help the cannabinoid system of the body. So, we have some more folks joining us, and that was the CBD isolate. It's singularly using the CBD, the properties of CBD, cannabidiol, but it doesn't have anything else to enhance the veracity of that in and of itself. Then finally, we have what's called Smart Spectrum CBD. And it's a CBD isolate, and it has all of the properties of the plants.
Go ahead.
I don't see it. The plants, the essential oils, which then work synergistically to create the benefits of both what the isolate does and the terpenes do. So you're getting a much better product with Smart Spectrum CBD. So what do we have that's available to us? Nature's Ultras CBD is US certified organic and non-GMO. That's a plus. It has the same seed to seal rigorous testing that's approved by Young Living's quality standards. We have high quality CBD with no THC, and it's both vegan and gluten-free. It has no animal byproducts, and it's been attested to, committed to never performing animal testing. So you have a very responsible company that's producing by the very same types of standards that we are used to in terms of the essential oils that Young Living produces. So you have a very good fit in terms of the quality of the product that you're going to get if you use the Young Living CBD. Now, there are a number of different varieties of CBD. And we're going to talk a little bit about those. First of all, we have something called the Calm Roll-On. It's a 300 to 600 milligram strength roll-on, and it's infused. Remember the terpenes? This is the bump up. This is what's heightening the viability of the Nature's Ultras CBD. It's infused with eucalyptus, frankincense, lavender, orange, vetiver, ylang-ylang, all top quality Young Living oils. And we understand the quality that's associated with that oil, so you won't have any conflict in terms of what you're putting in your body when you're using these products. This particular roll-on creates a peaceful environment. It helps you relax and quiet the mind, decreases stress, and it gives you a soothing, restful night's sleep. So if you're having those kinds of issues, I would certainly suggest that you get yourself some Calm Roll-On. Now, my personal favorite is the Joint and Muscle Balm. Again, it comes in 300 and 600 milligrams. It targets those sore, achy muscles. And let me give you a little story that happened to me that sold me on the Joint and Muscle Balm. In November of last year, my son and granddaughter were up here visiting over the holidays, and my granddaughter wanted to do s'mores in the backyard. We have a fire pit up there, and it had just rained about 3 days prior. And I looked over and I saw my son at the fire pit with this damp wood, and he was trying to get this fire started, and he was fanning like a banshee over there. And I looked over and I said, wait a minute, I have some old papers that I was saving, so when the next time I got ready to use the fire pit, I could start it, because I knew it was going to be a bit damp. So I ran up the stairs into the sunroom, ran across the room, and didn't pay attention that the sliding glass door was closed. And I slammed into that glass door so hard that I left an imprint of my eye socket on the glass. And it jammed my left shoulder like you would not believe. I thought it was dislocated, but because I could still move it and all it did was ache, I really just damaged that tissue around the rotator cuff. And I mean, it was something that you would not want to experience more than once. And it was one very tough thing to deal with. It took me about 3 months, but I constantly used the CBD muscle balm, and the edge was always taken off within minutes. I was able to use the arm because any awkward movement with my arm, like when you're driving and you use your left hand and you get to a corner and you want to turn, I had to use both hands to do it, when normally I would be able to use either of my hands. But that circular motion in it involved that area in my shoulder, and it was almost at the point of taking your breath away. The pain was so bad. So the CBD joint and muscle balm is a big, big winner in my mind for reducing pain. It targets the muscles, it provides a hot and cold sensation with the menthol, and it has the infusing of young living oils. And as it said before, they have a splendid blend here as well. This balm is infused with camphor, clove, helichrysum, lemon, peppermint, tea tree, wintergreen, and more. These ingredients work hard together, and that's the reason for the full spectrum. These ingredients work hard together to soothe your aches and pains that you experience in your body. So if you haven't tried any of these and you have some issues that seem to be addressed, I would recommend give it a shot. See what it does for you. And there are now some mini versions, little tins of the same CBD products. So, and this little one is CBD muscle. This is CBD muscle rub, and you get 5 sample tins, and they're 30 milligrams each. So if you didn't want to jump whole hog in the lake, you now have a starter kit that you can work with in these little tins, and you could test it on yourself before you got overly invested in it.
Well, and what I've used them for is we had a guy that he signed up and he wanted a bunch of nutritional items, and he did want the CBD, but he had spent over $300. And so I just gave him one of these little tins. You know, it's a great sample, 30 milligrams. And now he has his own little sample until he decides that he wants to put a full order in for just CBD.
Most of the time when you're talking to new people, if you can introduce them to the product that you're talking about, you'll probably get a lot more mileage in terms of them wanting to try it more. But you really need to try it yourself so that you are a product of the product. It's much easier for me to talk to you about something that I've tried and I know how it works for me. Again, I'm only here to tell you something that I know about something that you're saying that's causing you a problem. God put me in that space to tell you this. What you do with the information after you get it, I don't take any responsibility for. So that's my approach to talking to people when I talk to them about the various products that Young Living has. We have a plethora of products that can address pretty much anything that people experience day to day. So if you're familiar with it, you'll go a lot further in talking to people about it because you'll have some personal experience with it. Now, another product that we have, that took 2 times. The next product that we have, Cool Mint CBD. It comes in 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams. So it's a little bit more potent. It's infused with peppermint and spearmint essential oils. Cool Mint is an uplifting blend that will support you throughout the day. And Nature's Ultra took this a step further in terms of it comes in a bottle with an eyedropper for easy measuring for you to use the product. So that's Cool Mint. And what I like about the variety is you can find one that resonates with you. And when I talk to people, although I'm talking in general terms, I always focus on those things that I've actually experienced myself, because I can only tell you how good it works for me. And if you don't have any experience and you value my opinion, you're probably it's going to be a lot easier for you to take a look at what I'm talking about if it has some resonance with you, because I've experienced it.
Well, I'd like to say something about the bottles. As we go through these bottles, this is the cool mint, and he'll talk about 2 more flavors, if you will. But I was listening to a video this morning, and I did send it to you, on how to store your CBD. I think it's important to understand that there's a reason, number one, that these oils and oil infused CBD is in a black bottle. The reason is because sunlight will degrade it. It is only shelf life good for 6 months after you open it. If you have any concern, they recommend that you put it in the refrigerator. Now, you don't have to put your muscle rub in there. Just keep it in a cabinet that's dark. And, you know, you can keep your CBD oil in a cabinet that's dark, or, you know, just somewhere out of the light. Even though it's black, we don't want it to get light. And your oils should be done similarly. That's why we have those in dark bottles. They should be in a case that is that's going to protect them from the sun. Or, you know, we just have too many oils to put in the refrigerator. But that is something that I wanted you to be aware of. And also, I wanted to tell you that most of you who know me, I walk 5 miles every day. And when I'm not, right now I'm on a cleanse, and I think I'm on day 12 of the master cleanse. But normally I will have a cup of coffee in the morning. And I love to put a full dropper full of either the peppermint CBD or the cinnamon. He's going to be talking about the cinnamon. The cinnamon, and he's going to probably elaborate on this, has some properties that he's going to share with you. But I love these in my coffee. And then I have less lower back pain. I have less piriformis pain, IT band stress from all the walking that I do. So yeah, like right now, I think I have 13,751 steps in just for today. And that's an average day. That's usually what I put in with weeding and the like. So CBD is my friend. I really, really like this. Go ahead, Kenneth.
It doesn't want to go again. Oh, okay. Citrus CBD also comes in 500 milligrams and 1,000 milligrams. This is infused with Young Living grapefruit and orange essential oil. Citrus CBD is an energizing combination. And again, Nature's Ultra has done put the eyedropper in the bottle so that you can easily measure for your use. So again, you notice there's a great variety of things. And finally, we have the cinnamon. It's 500 to 1,000 milligrams infused with Young Living cinnamon essential oil. The CBD will give you a boost during your daily activities. And I read somewhere about a week or so ago that cinnamon helps in lowering blood pressure. So if you want to be sneaky and run your blood pressure, this is an excellent way to do it. And I use cinnamon bark in my coffee every morning for that reason. So you can now use CBD with all of its full spectrum synergistic properties in your coffee. So you're getting a threefold bump up of your cannabidiol system.
Well, and another thing that cinnamon does is it helps to balance blood sugar. So that's why I like it, you know, because in the morning I don't eat before I go walk. And that's why I really like cinnamon in the cinnamon CBD in my coffee, because I know that I'm not going to get, drop in my blood sugar. I'll be fine.
So again, you have a number of reasons that you can adapt some of these things to your day-to-day use. And that's what I like about them. There's so much variety that you're not stuck trying to fit one in. You can find a place where it really needs to be, and you have something that'll work with it. So how do you get started with this? Well, you could buy them as a retail buyer, but why would you want to do it that way? We have a CBD starter kit, and it allows you, by purchasing the CBD starter kit, it allows you to become a Young Living member, and you get access to wholesale prices, and wholesale prices is 24% below retail. So again, 24%. I'd much rather save that and buy something else with that money. So you buy the starter kit. You have a regular strength CBD premium starter kit. It starts at $165. In that kit, you have the Calm CBD roll-on at the 300 milligram strength, the CBD muscle rub at 300, citrus CBD at 500, and a getting started with CBD brochure to give you some background information on the products that you just bought. And it will afford you Young Living wholesale membership for life. So you got a major win. You're getting something that's going to boost your body's ability to take care of itself, and you're saving money. You can't hardly beat a deal like that. Now, there's a second version of this kit. It's called the Extra Strength CBD, and essentially the strength of all of the products in this kit is doubled. It's valued at $250. It has the Calm roll-on, but it's now at 600 milligrams, with 600 milligrams in the CBD rub and the citrus oil, and of course the Getting Started CBD brochure. And it also allows you Young Living wholesale membership. So depending upon how involved you want to get with CBD, you have two very, very easy ways to get started and do some real good, healthy things to boost your nervous system, both the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system. And CBD, Young Living's CBD, Nature's Ultra CBD, has no tetrahydrocannabinol. So you don't have to worry about taking the urinalysis test wherever and whenever one should pop up. It won't affect you at all.
When we enroll someone with the CBD starter kit here in the Campbell household, we always go for the extra strength kit because we prefer the 600 milligram muscle rub. So again, it ends up being what you use is what you're going to share with other people. And if you're a user of the extra strength, then of course that's what you can talk about. And anytime that I give somebody a little dab on their shoulder or their hand or wherever they're having distress, I give it to them of the 600 milligram muscle rub, and then of course they don't want anything lesser than that. So just keep that in mind when you're sharing. People want to be like you. They want to use what you're using. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for them. And that's kind of the rule of thumb that they use.
Once you get started with using your Young Living products, a very easy way to ensure that you're always going to have what you need when you need it is using the Essential Rewards program. And the incentive for doing that is you get discounted shipping, you earn points to use on future products that you order, you get loyalty gifts from time to time, and there are actual points in time when these loyalty gifts come. Is that every year?
And the what?
The loyalty points.
3, 6, and
Yes.
9 months, and then every once a year. after you've been in for 24 months, I think.
And you get freebies starting at the 100 PV order point. You get exclusive discounted products, and it qualifies you to receive referral bonuses. So again, this is an excellent program to ensure if you're starting a regimen to help change your body's effect. Because the reason you're doing these things is to boost your health or to maintain what changes you've made in life to get your body in a place that you're comfortable with it being. So all of the products that you buy, that's the reason that you're doing it. And once you've been introduced to the plan, it makes a lot of sense that somebody can automatically get in a position to not have to remember every month that this has got to happen. So this is what the essential reward side of the street will allow you to do. So that's my little speak on all things CBD. Do you have any questions that I might be able to entertain?
Hi, yes, this is Carol. I have a question.
Okay.
I wanted to know, I want to know a couple things. I want to know if it makes a difference whether you use the CBD around meals, around food or not. And also I've heard that it can be somewhat protective against coronavirus. I guess, does it just, with the homeostasis, help the immune system, or how does that work?
It improves the immune system functioning. And remember the oils with the terpenes. That's what the terpenes do in your body. It helps to boost your body's immune system. So you're getting a three-way entourage effect that it mentioned, because combining not only the CBD, the cannabidiol,